This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Google is offering free AI training and tools to U.S. small businesses so they can innovate in ways both big and small. Built by Google experts, the Google AI Professional Certificate equips small businesses with practical AI skills. Through hands-on projects, they can start using AI to get more done and unlock new opportunities for their business. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at grow.google/business.
Welcome to the Frug Life. Today we have a special episode. It is a AI written episode, a Claude written episode. So let's see how well Claude captured my format and how well you like it. Why is it that some people can stick to a budget for years and other people can't make it past the third week of January? I think about this a lot, and it usually comes back to a sentence I see over and over in personal finance forums and comment sections. I know what I'm supposed to be doing with my money. I can't seem to actually do it. And I think that's actually the most important sentence in personal finance. Not because it's sad, but because it tells you the real problem isn't information. Interesting. Real Ricky here for a second. I actually don't know if I've seen that sentence too much. Then again, I don't read any personal finance forums, really. Anyways, back to scripted Ricky. Here's what I mean. If you ask basically anyone whether they should spend less than they earn, save for retirement, and avoid credit card debt, they'll say yes. Everyone already knows this. You didn't need to tell me. Oh man, if I can read, maybe it's too late for me to record an episode. You didn't need me to tell you that. So if everyone already knows the answer, why doesn't everyone just do it? The gap between knowing and doing is basically the whole topic of frugal living. In my opinion, I've read that terribly. The math of personal finance is not hard. Spend less than you make. Compound interest is on your side if you start early. None of that requires a finance degree. The hard part is psychological, not mathematical. Yeah. And I don't know what I think about this. It's not entirely accurate, right? I mean, I guess deep down, a lot of the ideas it's talking about are pretty straightforward. Spend less than you earn, save for retirement, etc. But I think where a lot of people struggle is that they don't even think about that at all. Like the idea of spending less money isn't on their mind. They just spend all the money they have and don't think about it. But let me know what you think. Do you think more people know that they shouldn't spend all their money, or they just don't care, or what? One of the bigger issues is something behavioral economists call present bias. Basically, your brain weighs $1 today as worth way more than $1 next year, even when that's not rational. Saving for retirement means giving up something you want right now for a version of yourself that's 30 years away and doesn't feel real yet. That's a hard trade to make. The guy buying a new phone today isn't being stupid. He's human. His brain just doesn't feel as connected to the retired version of himself as it does to the version of himself sitting in the store right now. I feel like the AI hasn't really captured my language because I really try not to say stupid, right? I think I'd call him I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say that. This is actually part of why automation works so well. If you automate your savings, you're not relying on willpower every single month. You're taking the decision out of the moment when present bias is strongest. I've talked about this before. Automating good behavior basically tricks your own brain into cooperating with itself. And yeah, I think that's good. Make the decision up front to be frugal. Make the decision this day that you will be frugal. There's also this idea called mental accounting, where we treat money differently depending on where it came from, even though money is money. A tax refund gets treated like fun money, even if it's really just money you overpaid the government and got back. A work bonus gets treated as extra. So people are way more likely to blow it on something than they would be with the exact same amount from their paycheck. What? I can't even read what AI wrote next with a straight face. I'll be honest, I do this too. I most certainly do not do this too. If I find $20 in an old jacket that's getting spent on something dumb and fun, if $20 just sits in my check, like, no, 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 no. I'm Mr. Frug, Claude. I don't spend money frivolously. Oh, dear. I need to give Claude feedback because I'm trying to train Claude a little bit more. And we'll see if I can feed this episode back into it and see what it thinks. This matters for frugal living because of a lot of advice tells you to just be more rational. And that's kind of useless advice. You're not going to outlogic your own brain. What actually works is building systems that account for how your brain actually behaves, not how it should behave in some textbook. Interesting. This is the exact opposite of what I talk about generally. I generally talk about those systems, right? I mean, I do think systematizing and automating things is good too, but not because it's tricking your brain or however it phrases here. Not, yeah. And maybe it's actually pointing out a flaw of my upcoming book, which the book talks about lots of things you should do to be more like efficient and effective with your money. The book really doesn't focus all that much on the psychology of why you aren't doing those things already. It kind of assumes that you don't know them. But then again, it kind of has my own unique spin on things. You'll see. You should read my upcoming book, which is going to be released hopefully soon. I think it's really close. I don't think I'm going to read this whole episode because it's kind of clear the AI, Claude doesn't understand me yet. I fed it just a handful of episodes about me to base its opinion on, just like 3 of the more recent episodes, I think. So clearly it doesn't quite have a grip yet. But let's read 1 or 2 more segments here. Another big one is lifestyle creep. And this one is sneaky because it doesn't feel like a decision. It just kind of happens. You get a raise and your spending quietly rises to match it. Nobody sits down and says, I'm going to spend more because I make more. It sort of just happens in the background, one upgrade at a time. Part of that is social comparison. We don't evaluate our spending in a vacuum. We evaluate it against the people around us. If everyone in your friend group is buying a certain car or going on a certain trip, suddenly that thing feels necessary instead of optional. It's not that you need it. It's just the bar for normal moved. I think this is one of the harder ones to fight, honestly, because it's mostly invisible. You don't usually notice your lifestyle creep. You notice everyone else's. It's always the other guy with the unnecessary upgrades, never you. I bet most people listening to this can point to a lifestyle creep in a friend's spending way faster than they can spot it in their own. There's also a pattern where people credit themselves for the good outcomes and blame outside forces for the bad ones. Stock goes up. You made a smart call. Stock goes down. The market was rigged or the news was unpredictable. I actually talked about this exact bias in the stock picking episode, where people attribute their wins to skill and their losses to bad luck. The same thing happens with budgeting. People will say, I'm just bad with money, like it's some fixed trait, instead of looking at the actual systems and habits that led them to where they are. That belief becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy too. Because if you've decided you're just bad with money, you stop trying to build the systems that would actually fix it. I think that's a decent point. I don't think the answer here is more financial knowledge. False. I do think financial knowledge is an important part of the answer. A lot of people don't. Well, yeah, you have to know how to build the system. If you knew how to build the system, you would have built it. That's what I think. If you had an easy way to manage your finance, you would have done it. So totally you need more financial knowledge. It's just maybe you don't need to understand the fundamentals. You need to understand how to actually apply those fundamentals. You need the knowledge to apply it to you and to your finances. And maybe the knowledge you need is how to motivate yourself. But I don't know. I think in part it's knowledge. Most people who struggle with money aren't struggling because they don't understand compound interest. I bet the correlation between those two is actually pretty strong. I think the answer is closer to designing your environment so it's the easy choice. and the right choice. I said it wrong. So that the easy choice and the right choice are the same choice. Yeah, there's some merit to that. That's things like saving money the day you get paid. I hate this framework. Like, I don't like this pay yourself first type stuff, right? Which I think I do. All of my money goes into a savings account. And then I use a credit card and pay off that credit card every month using funds from the savings account. So I don't know. I save 100% and then some of that goes to expenses, just what I need, right? The this paradigm of like, oh, well, you put the money in a checking account and then you spend it and then you move some of it to savings. And that's what savings is. Savings is moving some of your money from a checking account to a savings account. Maybe some people think that. I think that's a weird way of thinking about things. And I feel like that's kind of what it's getting at here, right? But yeah, save money. I guess automate it so you don't have to think about it. That's true. But I don't even run by like a monthly budget really. I just have historical budgets, right, which show what I've done in the past. And I'll try to forecast what I'm doing in the future. Anyway, I guess I'm rambling. Let's pause there with AI. It did an interesting job, I guess. Let me feed this back to Claude and see what Claude thinks.